Welcome to the Career Suite. Very quickly show you the control room and the suite and a couple of the products, just to give you a quick idea of what to expect. So the first place to really we'll have a quick look at is the library here. So if you look at the library, this is the range of products. So PeopleMaps provides literally a suite of personality reports. Each one is different, all relating to career. So if you're a career coach and advisor, then you can use one or all of these reports with each of your clients. They do work well together as volumes 1, 2 and onwards. And of course, the other thing to remember is when you've got a suite of reports, then you literally could do a coaching session on each one of these using the report as the backbone, the framework of an actual online coaching session. So the first one here looks at work environment, and PeopleMaps has done a lot of research in this area, and one of the big challenges that people face is understanding what work environments are good for them and which ones are not, and what it is they should be looking for. And this really helps people ask the right questions, and most people are in effectively a toxic work environment, and that's purely a function of personality. So regardless of your skills, qualifications or work experience, some environments will suit your personality and some will be toxic, and most people are not aware of what that is or why, and this report really addresses that in some detail, and it's possibly, we would argue, it's probably one of the biggest reasons that people are unhappy in their work, because there's a mismatch between their personality type and the work environment. Okay, so that's the first one. We'll probably have a more detailed look at that. We also look at how they deal with their boss and how they communicate with people, and communication is always a big issue for people. The company itself, should they be in a small company or a large company? What should they be asking about? What should they be thinking about? What stress motivates them in their career? What they should be avoiding? What they should be embracing? Again, if you're working with anybody who's struggling with stress at work or is finding they're just not motivated about their work at all, then you will find lots of clues here that can help you both move forward. If they're in a management position and they're looking at more management positions, then again you need to help them understand themselves as a manager and how their personality plays out there. And many people are trying to be somebody they're not, and that doesn't help anybody. There's also a little bit of interview preparation here, and it's generally, I suppose, it's really about sort of customer service roles, but given that pretty much all jobs have some element of customer service, this actual interview preparation guide can be very useful for almost everybody, so that's why we've included it in here. It was developed for a specific client at one point, but I think anybody would benefit from going through that report. And then finally we have the which career. And this is really for school leavers. So if you're working with teenagers who are about to leave school and not sure which course to go and do or which job to go and get, they have a very specific and peculiar set of challenges, which are very different from people who have been working to some extent. They've no work experience, they've got huge decisions to make with very little knowledge. And this fundamentally was probably the reason that PeopleMaps existed in the first place, is we felt that so many people are in the wrong job, and I personally was advised and sent in the wrong career path, and I wish I had had this report at the beginning, because I would have made very different choices and saved myself a good 20 years of misery. Okay, so that's the suite. I say you can use all or one or whatever. It's entirely up to you. You have control over that. I'll just activate this one here as the default. The questionnaire itself, you can see that you have a landing page. You can upload your logo to that landing page, and there is advanced options where you can embed the questionnaire on a page on your own website and effectively white label the experience. You can write your own thank you page message, and even things like data protection and GDPR are covered with this privacy consent statement here. And if we have a quick look at one of the reports, so you just go into view results, we've activated the work environment one. We'll just have a quick look at this report here, and it's written to the candidate, and it's written in plain English. There are no labels, there is no interpretation, no jargon. And the idea behind this is that it's only available through coaches like yourself. But the idea behind this is that they have a report that they can read and understand, and we don't want you wasting a lot of time trying to interpret jargon. The conversations that you have with your clients should be, okay, the report says this, what do we think about that? What are we going to do with that information? How is it going to affect our choices and decisions that we make going forward? And that's really the more useful conversations to have, rather than let me interpret some of this jargon and make some interpretations of things. There's no need to do that. So there's a big section on work environment that literally describes the work environments that they are suited to and that they should avoid, kind of things they maybe want to ask about the environment, so either directly to a potential employer or just of themselves. I wonder if this is like that or like this. So it really goes into this in some great detail. And then we have the personality gauges, which are all explained here. And the gauges measure on a specific spectrum. So you can see here in this report that this is someone who prefers having time to think and reflect at 67 rather than a fast-paced environment. It's not strongly that way, but it certainly has a preference. And again, if this person was looking at a job and the job was clearly very fast-paced, then you would have to question that and say, I'm not sure this would work for me, because they just don't get enough time to think and reflect on things. And that's never going to change. You don't get, the personalities aspect of it doesn't change. We cover all that in the training, and we'll speak about that later on. So again, this report has several gauges, and each of the reports in this suite has different sets of gauges. So, and each gauge gives you so much to work with, so much to talk about. I could talk for an hour about each pair of gauges with any candidate, any client. So again, huge amounts of stuff. And then we tend to include a little bit of action at the bottom, which you and your client can take on board. Now, of course, remember, this is over and above anything else that you would be delivering to them as a career coach, because we don't cover any of the fundamentals of career coaching. We're not looking at how to write a CV or any of that. We're really just helping people understand themselves so that they can make better decisions about the kind of careers they should pursue and why, and the kind of things they should avoid and why. So that's where our role in all of this is. So a lot of the work that you would normally do is still needing to be done. This is generally in addition to all of that. In some places it helps with that. So that's essentially how it works. It's pretty straightforward, and you can download it as a PDF. You can also, there's advanced features where you can make notes on the report, and you and your client can actually have a chat, several chats going on within each section. So say you wanted to talk about this, there'll be a notes facility you can add, so you can both have dialogue and therefore support that client on the system itself with each report, and that can make things a lot more efficient as well. Okay, so that's just one of the reports. I say the library is got 6 reports in total. Is it 6, 7? 7 actually, 5, 6, 7. And you can use all or one or some of these reports as you see fit.